You got your first pair of gloves at 9, dreaming of making catches that shouldn't be possible. While other kids wanted to run the ball and throw touchdowns, you craved the spotlight that comes with being unstoppable in the open field. By 7th grade, you were every quarterback's favorite target, the kid who could catch anything thrown remotely in his direction and turn 5-yard slants into house calls. Your highlight tape looked like a circus act. You didn't just catch passes, you redefined what it meant to get open. High school was your personal playground. Archbishop Rummel in Louisiana became your showcase stage. Every Friday night, defensive coordinators spent 3 hours trying to figure out how to stop you. 115 receptions for 2,152 yards and 30 touchdowns over your career. You weren't just good, you were inevitable. Recruiting was a feeding frenzy. Every major program calling daily. Florida had you committed first, but then LSU swooped in with promises. Your coach saw something special in a camp scrimmage. You running a slant, and you go against one of the top defensive backs they were recruiting. You won clearly. I don't know if he knows it, but he's coming to LSU, the coach told your father. You followed that vision to Baton Rouge. Freshman year at LSU was about learning. You had 23 catches for 313 yards with 3 scores. Solid numbers for a true freshman, but nothing compared to what was coming. You were just getting started, building chemistry with a quarterback who was about to change everything. Then came 2019. Your sophomore season wasn't just a breakout, it was a masterpiece. You caught 84 passes for 1,780 yards and 20 touchdowns. 6 times you eclipsed the 100-yard mark, and an additional 3 times you eclipsed 200 receiving yards in a game. The Vanderbilt game was pure poetry. 10 catches for 229 yards and 4 touchdowns. You weren't just beating defensive backs, you were embarrassing them on national television. LSU finished the year undefeated and won the College Football Playoff National Championship. The national title game against Clemson was your coronation. 221 yards against the Tigers on the biggest stage in college football. You were awarded the Fred Biletnikoff Award as the best receiver in college football. You were named a unanimous All-American. You had conquered college football completely. There was nothing left to prove at LSU. A month before the start of the 2020 season, you announced that you were opting out to concentrate on your NFL career. While other players needed another year to develop, you were already NFL ready. The professional ranks were calling. The combine got canceled because of COVID, but your LSU tape spoke for itself. You were projected as a top 10 pick, maybe even a top 5 if a team fell in love with your ceiling. Draft night arrived, and the Cincinnati Bengals selected you 5th overall. The same Bengals who hadn't won a playoff game since 1990. The same Bengals with cheap ownership and facilities that looked like they hadn't been updated since the Carter administration. But hey, at least they had your college quarterback now. The college magic could continue in Cincinnati, right? You signed your 4-year rookie contract worth $30.8 million. You were set for life before you played a single NFL snap. You became the first player in franchise history to wear the number 1. The press conference was filled with promises about reuniting college teammates and bringing championship culture to Cincinnati. Then, training camp happened, and you started dropping passes. Not just any passes, routine slants, simple comebacks, throws you'd been catching since middle school. You tallied 4 drops in your last 2 preseason games. Cincinnati fans started panicking. National media started questioning the pick. Did the Bengals waste the 5th overall selection? Are his hands not ready for NFL speed? Should he have stayed at LSU another year? The criticism was immediate and merciless. You went from can't miss prospect to potential bust in 3 preseason games. Your explanation made it worse. The ball is different because it is bigger, you said. It doesn't have the white stripes on the side, so you can't see the ball coming from the tip point, so you actually have to look for the strings on the ball at the top, which is hard to see because the whole ball is brown and you have 6 strings that are white. The internet exploded. Isn't this the guy that took an entire season off to get ready for the NFL, and he didn't bother trying to use an NFL football? Critics everywhere piled on. You were working overtime to fix it. I do at least 40 a day, you said, putting in some 500 tennis ball days after the drops. The tennis balls are for eye concentration and eye coordination. But nobody wanted to hear explanations. They just saw drops and assumed you forgot how to catch. Week 1 arrived, and you were ready to silence every critic who questioned your hands. Despite early struggles in the preseason, you played your first career regular season game against the Minnesota Vikings. First target of your NFL career, a perfect catch. The crowd exhaled like they've been holding their breath for months. Your unbelievable rookie season ends with 81 catches for 1,455 yards and 13 touchdowns in 17 games. You are named NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year and Second Team All-Pro after your incredible debut season. And then the magical playoff run began. In the wildcard game against Las Vegas, you had 9 receptions for 116 receiving yards, helping the Bengals win their first playoff game since 1990. In the divisional round against Tennessee, you recorded 5 receptions for 109 receiving yards, making you the youngest player in NFL history to record multiple 100-yard receiving games in a single postseason. In the AFC Championship game, you caught 6 passes for 54 yards and a touchdown in the overtime win against the Chiefs, helping the Bengals advance to their first Super Bowl in 33 years. You done it. As a rookie, you taken a franchise that hadn't won a playoff game in 31 years all the way to the promised land. Super Bowl 56, the biggest stage in sports. Everything you'd worked for since those Friday nights in Louisiana came down to 60 minutes against the Los Angeles Rams. This was your moment to cement your legacy, not just as a great player, but as a champion. The game was everything you dreamed of and everything you'd feared. You caught 5 passes for 89 yards, doing your job on the biggest stage. The Bengals led at halftime. You were 30 minutes away from immortality, 30 minutes away from validating every prediction, every accolade, every dollar of your rookie contract. But then, the Rams pass rush got home. Their defense started taking over. The game slipped away, 23-20. You played well enough to win, but football is a team sport, and your team came up just short. The confetti fell on someone else's shoulders. The trophy went to someone else's hands. You became the latest in a long line of great players who did everything right individually, but still walked away empty-handed. Your 368 postseason receiving yards set a rookie record. All those records, all that individual brilliance, and you still went home with nothing but the bitter taste of what if. Year 2 brought new expectations and old criticisms. He's only good because of his quarterback. Their college chemistry gives him an unfair advantage. Put him with any other quarterback and see what happens. Like having a good quarterback is somehow cheating. The thing is, they weren't entirely wrong. You and your quarterback did have chemistry that couldn't be taught. You knew when he was going to scramble before he did. He knew when you were going to break off routes before you signaled. But that wasn't luck. That was hundreds of hours of work building trust. Meanwhile, other receivers get praised for having good quarterbacks. When other star receivers have elite quarterbacks, it's great route running. When you have yours, it's system chemistry. The double standard was exhausting. Years 3 and 4 brought massive expectations. The team extended your quarterback. They signed free agents. They drafted help. This was supposed to be the window, championship or bust. The pressure was suffocating. Every drop got analyzed. Every route got scrutinized. You weren't just trying to help your team win. You were trying to prove you were worth the investment, worth the hype, worth being the face of a franchise. Your numbers stayed elite. Pro Bowls every year, all pro selections, individual success across the board. But team success? That was harder to come by. Injuries piled up. The offensive line struggled. The defense couldn't stop anybody. Year 4 became about legacy. You were in your prime. Your quarterback was healthy. The team was built around both of you. The championship window was open. But windows don't stay open forever in the NFL. Without a contract extension, you had everything to prove. So you went out and had the greatest season in franchise history. You finished the season with historic numbers that demanded respect. You won the Triple Crown after leading the league in receptions, 127, receiving yards, 1,708, and receiving touchdowns, 17. You became just the 6th player in the Super Bowl era to achieve the receiving Triple Crown. You signed a deal that makes you the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. You'd finally gotten paid like the superstar you'd proven to be. But the contract came with a price. Even more pressure, even higher expectations, even less patience for anything short of a championship. You gave the game everything. Perfect routes in traffic, catches that defied physics, leadership that carried locker rooms, historic seasons that rewrote record books. You made quarterbacks look better, made offensive coordinators look smarter, made bad teams competitive. You put up numbers that previous generations of receivers could only dream about. Triple Crown winner, record-setting rookie campaign, multiple All-Pro selections, the highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. For all the individual brilliance, all the broken records, all the highlight reel catches, you're still chasing that one elusive prize that would validate everything. Maybe next year the defense holds up. Maybe next year the coaching gets better. Maybe next year everything finally clicks and you get to feel confetti falling on your shoulders. Or maybe you end up like so many great receivers before you, with Hall of Fame numbers and an empty trophy case, wondering what could have been if you'd been drafted by a different team, in a different year, with a different defense.